What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a new episode is uploaded. Now, this is a little bit of iced tea. This story came out several weeks ago and I'm just now getting a chance to really talk about it, but I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to get your thoughts about it here. But this story comes from the Huffington Post, and it's about a former Louisiana teacher that admitted to feeding students cupcakes laced with special sauce. We'll just put it like that. So the story is that a former Louisiana middle school teacher has been sentenced to 40 years behind bars after admitting she fed students cupcakes laced with the special sauce of her ex-husband and ex-sheriff's lieutenant. Disgusting. He was in law enforcement, not saying that just because you're in law enforcement, you are above reproach. Obviously, we know that's not the case with everyone, but this is absolutely crazy. You have got to be some sick, demented individuals to do some stuff like this. So Cynthia Perkins, 36, was sentenced to 40 years of hard labor without the possibility of probation or parole. She accepted a plea bargain on the charges that include second-degree RAPE, producing child PORNO, and conspiracy mingling of harmful substances, according to the Louisiana Attorney General. The deal requires her cooperation against her ex-husband, Dennis Perkins, 44, a former SWAT team commander for the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, scheduled to stand trial later this year. Cynthia Perkins admitted assisting her husband in sexually assaulting a juvenile, helping her husband film a juvenile bathing. And so it goes deeper than the cupcakes, okay? And lacing the cupcakes with her then husband's special sauce before feeding them to school children. Oh my God. Like, to be one of those parents of the children who was subjected to this is crazy. The couple were arrested in October 2019 and indicted on 150 charges, according to the Livingston Parish News. Cynthia Perkins's defense attorney told the paper that a lot of thought and deliberation went into the plea negotiations and called the deal his client accepted the best possible outcome. She feels a lot of remorse over what's happened, the defense attorney James Stokes told the paper. This is not the kind of case where people are going home happy, but this was the best possible outcome. Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry said the plea deal spared the victims from reliving her horrific crimes during this particular trial. Prosecutors look forward to holding Dennis Perkins accountable for his crimes in the very near future. Why hasn't he stood trial yet? Like, he should just be under the freaking prison. Like, look at him. Yeah, I'm judging the book by its cover because he looks absolutely disgusting. And I don't know what was going on in the home with her and him, but she said that she was forced to do these things. It's possible that she may have been forced to do it. She did it, so she's not, she can't go by scot-free. But I've heard stories about sometimes how these females who are married to these officers that have these warped minds, like he definitely apparently did, are subjected to so many things, and sometimes it's hard for them to leave. So it's possible that she was getting abused as well. I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible. But this is just absolutely insane. And the fact that he hasn't stood trial yet, it doesn't sit well with me. But if she got 40 years, he definitely shouldn't be getting anything less than 80. I would say he deserves life. But he's a former police officer, so we don't know. We'll see what comes of that. But absolutely crazy that they would do some stuff like this. And I don't know how they found out about it. The story doesn't say how they found out that this was going on. I don't know if children got sick and I don't know. I don't know. But somehow it came out, and this is definitely a crazy situation. But I'm glad that they were caught and they can't hurt any more children anymore. All right, we have some more iced tea, and this story is from Florida. And this young girl, 13 years old, she was falsely accused of doing some things that happened on Instagram, and she was arrested, but it was found to be fake. And so now the parents of the teen are suing Instagram and the Florida school because of the wrongful arrest over some fake threats. So the mother of a 13-year-old girl who was arrested after being falsely accused of making threats on social media filed a lawsuit this week, and it was in February, against a Florida school and Instagram for malicious prosecution, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and violating her civil rights. Nia Wims, an 8th grader at Renaissance Charter School at Pines, was arrested November 19th after an unnamed classmate created an Instagram account using her name and sent messages to herself threatening to blow up the school and KILL multiple people, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit claims police arrested Nia without sufficient evidence while also citing a failure to promptly investigate easily discoverable information that forced her to remain in a juvenile detention center for 11 days. She wasn't there for Thanksgiving, her mother, Leslie Ann Davis, said at a press conference. She was heartbroken. She came home and she threw away her school uniform. The suit also accuses Instagram of negligence for failing to promptly provide information that is literally available at the press of a button to investigators, causing the delay in determining whether Nia was innocent and unjustly in custody. Meta, which owns Instagram, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Big surprise there. Big surprise there, right? Facebook, Meta, whatever, Zuckerberg's ownership, it's a horribly run company. You can't speak to anyone there. They have no customer service. It is just an absolutely horrible company. And as someone who is also a business owner myself and having to deal with them when it comes to situations, when it comes to running ads or the business pages and those different types of things, and there are issues, you can't speak to anyone there, but they want you to spend so much money on their platform. And it's like, what do you really get in return when it comes to the customer service? And in this situation, this was really something that was urgent. And like the lawsuit says, information that was just easily, readily available to them at the press of a button. So there was really no reason why that information shouldn't have been turned over to the police immediately. A 12-year-old student was later arrested and charged with making the threats after investigators obtained new evidence about the IP addresses associated with the messages in January, according to the Pembroke Police Department. Family attorney Marwan Porter told USA Today the family also intends to include the department in the lawsuit. The charter school and the police department failed to do proper investigation, failed to do their homework, no pun intended, before putting our children in handcuffs and locking them behind bars, Porter said. It's been very, very difficult on them as a family. Police said the delay in arresting Nia's classmate was because her family did not cooperate with the investigators, but Davis said she allowed police to take the iPad her daughter had been using when police came to her home to question Nia. Porter said the allegation that Davis didn't cooperate adds insult to injury, adding he also believes race absolutely played a role in the arrest of the black teenager. As they say in the criminal justice system, the cover-up is worse than the crime, he said. It's nonsense, it's foolishness, and I'm going to expose them. Nia's wrongful arrest came after months of bullying that the school failed to address, according to the complaint. Oh, they're getting paid big time, because that's one of the things that's been an issue with schools, period, when it comes to parents who have complained to school officials about their child being bullied. I saw a story several months ago about a young girl who committed suicide. I don't think the girl was more than 11 years old, and the parents were speaking to the school officials about their child being bullied in school, and they did nothing about it. And so for a child to get to the point where they want to take themselves out, or in this situation, people can use the internet now to lie on other people and make things up. And then this young lady got arrested because of it. That is crazy. The bullying is just like to a whole other level in these days and times versus back in the day, where someone would just pick on you or make fun of the clothes you wear or the way your eyes looked or your hair looked or whatever. And they may have other people that join in on the picking on and making fun of or whatever. But now to the point where it's someone making up an account using someone else's name and saying that this person was going to kill people in school. Crazy. So had they listened to her, this would have never happened to Nia, Porter said. Colleen Reynolds, a spokeswoman for Renaissance Charter School at Pines, said the school does not comment on pending litigation, which is that's usually the case because you don't want to incriminate yourself or incriminate the defendant. Our highest priority remains the safety and security of our students, Reynolds said. We always have and always will take all appropriate actions to ensure our students and staff are safe. The family is seeking $30,000 in damages, in part to get Nia treatment and counseling for the emotional and psychological effects of her arrest and detention. This is just a little girl who's been hauled away in handcuffs, Porter said. It's been very, 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 very traumatic. $30,000 is nothing. I mean, honestly, I expected it to be more than that, but it doesn't sound like they're trying to be unreasonable. They're not looking for a come up off of this situation. And I don't really care how old someone is. It is traumatic for anyone to be accused of doing something that they did not do and to be arrested for it. So for this young girl to have to endure that, and she spent over a week in a detention facility, that is tragic. So they deserve $30,000 and then some, if you ask me. But I just wanted to talk about this story. I am sorry that this happened to this young lady, and whoever that person was, of course, she's a juvenile, so they're not going to release her information. She deserves to have the book thrown at her because she was very thoughtful in calculating and creating a social media account for this young lady and using her name to say that she was going to do some things, and then, you know, this happens to her. So she deserves to have the book, you know, thrown at her, but she'll probably be charged as a minor. I don't know what ethnicity the other young lady is. It really doesn't even matter. But if I get any more information on the story, I will come back and talk about it. But this is crazy, and I'm glad that this young lady has been released. But I hope she gets the therapy and the counseling and the help that she needs. And for the other person to be so cold and calculating to even think to do something like this and move forward with it and do it, she deserves everything that's coming to her and then some.